Good morning, Unity on the Bay. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for being here, whether you are here with us in this beautiful physical space and you're able to turn and look at your neighbor and maybe even wave hi. Yes? Can you do that to each other? The person next to you, waving hi, acknowledging them. Hey, Michelle. Awesome. Or maybe you're at home from the comfort of your own personal space. Maybe there's people around you or not, but just enjoy where you're at. And thank you for joining us here at Unity on the Bay, where we are your positive path for spiritual living. And my name is Shantae Haymore Kearney, and I am so excited and very grateful to be your morning platform hostess. So I have a few things to share with you about our community that I want you to keep in your mind, or actually I really want you to put in your calendar and then also share it with someone else so that we can keep people and ourselves plugged in to our community so we can be together. Because we have a very fun and exciting opportunity coming up. For the first times we are opening up the doors to a new club. It's called Club U. Club U. Hey! Five. Yes! Okay, don't get me started. But actually, no, get me started. This is a vibrant club, y'all. You know? This vibrant new hub is going to be where we come together to celebrate, to connect, and also, most importantly, to fundraise to keep our community thriving. Bam, 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 bam. Club U is a lounge experience with a fusion of jazz lounge and Miami nightclub. It's hosted at Level 3, which is in Aventura. And here are just some of the highlights. Number 1, free parking. Because that part, right? Number 2, an open bar, if that's something that you're interested in. We will also have a singer by the name of Yoli Mayer, who's from America's Got Talent, so we got like singers. We will be honoring and acknowledging Miss Nicole Henry with the Light of Unity Award. She's fantastic, snap it up. And our MC will be Faye What? So she'll be in the house doing her MC thing, and DJ will be Demetrius Idolette. So we invite you to come to Club U on September 7th at 6 p.m. Tickets have officially gone on sale. Today is a special launch price of only $150 because where can you go out in Miami for $150 with free parking and an open bar? I'm waiting. No, you can't even go hardly to like Pollo Tropical for that much for your family. So, true, right? So, you could come and kick it with us at Club U. Bam, 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 bam. I'm having so much fun with this announcement on September 7th at 6 p.m. Yes? Music. Hey! All right. Yes. Okay. So from one fun announcement to the next, we are in full swing for our summer backpack drive. Yes, absolutely. Summer is here, and while our kids are on a break from school, our Angels Everywhere team is busy getting our backpack drive together. We have our Angels gathering, and just for the record, to let everyone know, our backpack drive holds the record for the largest backpack drive in South Florida, period. That's right. So your help, and with your help, we provide backpacks to over 6,000 kids, year after year after year after year. So these backpacks are filled with school supplies that our kids need to help us out and to contribute to this wonderful backpack party. It's a party Sunday. Head on over to our website, unityonthebay.org. Make a donation today to help us help as many families as we can. Yes? Yes? All right. Now, we're going to invite Reverend Juan up here to keep the party going.
Oh. Hey, Shante. Good morning. I feel my dancing is the equivalent of my dad jokes these days, so I don't know. Thank you. I'm also a really good joke teller, Shante. Oh, she just said, you're a great dancer. Good morning, everyone. It is so good to be with you. It is so good to be here at Unity on the Bay. How many of you are so grateful to be at Unity on the Bay today? Yes. Well, I am too, and I was away on vacation. Last week we were at Unity Convention, and as wonderful as all of that is, it's lovely to be home, and it's lovely to be with each of you and to not only see into your eyes, but to feel into your heart. And I'm just so grateful for the kind of community that we are. I shared earlier that one of the great things about going to Unity Convention, it's an annual convention that they have, is we get to experience Unity on the Bay from the outside perspective. And Reverend Pam, Jason, who was there, we were there for the ordination of Reverend Noel Nielsen and Reverend Sandra Taggle, which is amazing. It was just really great to hear from other people, like they just feel and sense the kind of love and the kind of joy and the kind of community that we are. So just know that not only do I get to share my gratitude for each of you every Sunday or when I see you, but the Unity movement is grateful for who you are, how you are a part of Unity on the Bay, and how Unity on the Bay is showing up in the world because of your support and you being a part of the fabric of it. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. I know, we're just like feeling it now, right, Shante? So it is really, really great. So I trust if you've been coming for a while, you feel that love. I trust that if this is your first time, you are feeling that love. And if this is your first or second time at Unity on the Bay, and I got to meet somebody who's here for her first time, I said, just know and trust that it's going to be an amazing, amazing day. So if it is your first or second time, we'd love to just get to know you a little bit more. So if you follow the prompts that are on our screen, you'll be able to just connect with us. We'll invite you to share with us what invited you to come to Unity on the Bay, what you're looking for in the community. You can also go to the Welcome Center that's in the back after services, and we will have a gift for you for just being a part of, of answering that call, whether that was a call from somebody that told you we're going to go to Unity on the Bay today, or that was an inner call that said you better get yourself to Unity on the Bay today, that you answered the call and that you're here and that you have brought who you are, all of who you are, to this place. If there is somebody who's here for the first or second time, well, I know there is at least one, but raise your hand so that we can welcome you and thank you. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're watching from home, you can put it on the comment screen. And what we do here in Sundays, besides put on, the club music and give the senior minister a backache when he's trying to dance in the platform, is we get to share with each other and we remind each other of some of the ways in which we get to show up in the world. And we do that by speaking our core values. And like I always share, these are only words unless we embody them and express them in the world. And so with that in mind, let's own who we are and speak our core values together. Diversity, generosity, gratitude, integrity, love, being spirit-led, and wisdom. And I actually got invited by somebody earlier today to invite all of us to maybe, the way I'm seeing it, to live these core values even more fully. Let us celebrate the value of love. Let us celebrate the value of generosity and gratitude by turning to somebody next to you and saying, I am so grateful that you are here with me today. If you're watching from home, just speak it into the screen and let me be the one to tell the people at home, I am so grateful that you are here with me today. I love it. Good. I'm So glad we're doing this. I'm so grateful that you're here. All right, settle down, people. Settle down. It kind of reminds me, like, do some music. There you go. It reminds me, so when I facilitate classes, sometimes one of our agreements is, like, question it all. Just because we say it doesn't mean you have to believe it, but I always joke and say, unless I say it. If I say it, it's true, and just do it, right? So actually, today we're going to be talking about the power of skepticism and the power of doubt and being friends with doubts that we may have as part of our own spiritual unfoldment and journey. And I can't wait to get in that. Before we do that, I'm going to invite you to speak the affirmation that I've invited you into this year after Easter, partly so that I remember it myself. And so I'll say it once, and then I'll invite you to speak it with me. My life is my message. My light is my testimony. Together. My life is my message. My light is my testimony. And let us go to that place within us where we do not only testify, but the place within us where we get that power and that grace and that sense of well-being that moves us into the world as the powerful testimonies of God that we are. I invite you to take a deep breath. Just take that breath and feel the newness that is in this very moment. Feel the power and the grace that is at hand, and feel all that you are as expressions of the divine, here open and receptive to being a greater space of love, a greater space of peace, a greater space of blessings and miracles. For we know that as we say yes to being all that God is in us, we experience more of God in our lives. Here and now, we give thanks for all that brought us to this very place. We give thanks for the teachings, the community, the sense of well-being that is alive here and now. And we give thanks that together we can witness each other's light, that together we can remind each other of our light, that together we can remember just how worthy and sacred we are, for we are Christ in expression. We are God in the world, and people get to experience God's love through and as us. This morning, we give thanks for all that is true, all that is within us. We give thanks for the ways in which we found each other, and we especially give thanks that today, here and now, we claim, we affirm, and we own that we are blessed and that we are a great blessing. Unity on the Bay, let me hear you powerfully claim this truth as together we say, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, unity. Thank you, community. So it is as we let it be, and the people say, amen. Let's have a wonderful, sunshiny day.
Good morning, Unity. Good morning. God bless each and every one of you. I know you know this song, so sing along. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been waiting for. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies.
Volunteers are a vital part of a strong and healthy spiritual community. They give their time and talents freely because they love helping people and they believe in the power of community. Some of them you'll see on Sundays singing their hearts out, greeting you at the door, or staying after services to pray with you. And other volunteers, like our Board of Trustees and Angels Everywhere team, work behind the scenes for countless hours to support this community and beyond. Volunteering is no small act. It is an act of selfless love. In fact, it's a sacred act, and this is why we consider all of our volunteers to be sacred servers. So today, join us in honoring and celebrating our Sacred Server of the Month and Sacred Service Team of the Month.
Good morning, Unity on the Bay. Oh! Do you feel the love? Today, right now, look around you. We are surrounded by people who give of their love, their time, their energy to nurture your spiritual development. And they receive so much from us. So we are going to talk a little bit about our team of the month, the fellowship team. A huge round of applause for the fellowship team. This team is diligent, professional, on time, on it. They work behind the scenes to make sure that all these fun events are taking place as smoothly as possible. You know how Disney, everything is just so beautiful, and if you go underground through those tunnels, you see all kinds of stuff that you're not allowed to see as a guest? Well, the fellowship team makes it magical for you. So I want to give a huge round of applause to Edith, Anjanice, Nancy, and Raul, who give so much to us. And to speak on behalf of the fellowship team and to read the daily word, we have the amazing Anjanice.
Thank you, Leo. What an introduction. Wow. With an intro like that. Awesome. Well, definitely want to give first a huge shout out to the two members of our team that couldn't be here today, and that's Edith Deek and Raul Hernandez, who's at the family ministry today with the kids, and to Nancy Harrington, who does so much with us, and to Leo Martinez, who's also freshly joined us, and really we couldn't get the events happening without you. So thank you so much. Also to our amazing volunteers that join every single special event that we have. All the hands are welcomed, all the hands are loved, and God's hands truly working through you guys. It's been such an amazing experience. I joined sometime last year when John was still with us. He approached me about it along with Edith and Nancy, and I was like, you know what? A party planning committee? That's my dream, absolutely. Like, we get to plan all the fun events. So when it comes to things like the Peace Picnic that we just had, Unity Day, when it comes to the Christmas party, we're the team behind the scenes having meetings about the decorations, the entertainment, the food, the drinks, and so on, making sure that you all feel welcomed every time that you come here, that you feel loved every time that you're here for a party, and that you feel that your community sees you more than anything and appreciates you through the little times that we get to celebrate like that. So thank you all so much. And with that, I'm going to read the daily word. And I encourage you all, by the way, next time you get the chance, to also volunteer. Helping hands are loved and welcome, like I said. Today's daily word is generous. Speak with me, the affirmation. I honor the divinity of others through my generosity. One more time. I honor the divinity of others through my generosity. There have been times when I relied on the generosity of others. I remember feeling grateful when they shared what they had with open hearts, not thinking of how I might repay their kindness. This is the true gift of generosity, not just the material offered or the services rendered, but the feeling I am worthy of someone's time, treasure, and effort. This love and compassion is the heart of my generosity impulses too. I give not out of pity or even out of obligation or duty, but so others may know their worthiness through me. Each person is a divine being made in the image and likeness of God. I honor each person's divinity by doing what I can to help and support them as others have helped me and supported me. This is based on Proverbs chapter 22, verse 9. Those who are generous are blessed, for they share their bread with the poor. Thank you, everyone, and I hope that you see in your hearts to also be generous for this community as we are every event that we plan towards you. Thank you.
That was really beautiful.
It's time to get ready for meditation. Please silence your phones. Sit in a comfortable posture and remember to take deep breaths from time to time. We'll begin our meditation experience with a song.
And so if you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your eyes now. For in this very moment, what we are doing is moving into the inside world, that space within us where we can feel and sense the presence of God. And so we bring all of our attention inward, allowing ourselves to be open, to being receptive to this experience of love, to the sacred time of affirming that we are good, that we are sacred and holy. That as we quiet our minds, we open our hearts, we sense truth, the truth of our being, that connection, that oneness with God, that oneness in God. I invite you to take another deep breath. Simply being aware of the breath as that powerful reminder. As you breathe in, remember, you give life to this experience. You allow what you want this experience to be. And so breathe in an awareness of love. Breathe in the peace of God that is already around you and within you. Breathe in that life-giving energy and consciousness that knows that it knows that it knows heaven is right here. Heaven is knowing that we and God are one. Heaven is knowing that our lives are filled with grace and that we bring grace to the lives of others. As you exhale, let that be a reminder that every time we can choose to release and to let go of that which no longer serves us. And so choose for yourself right here and now. Doubts that you are sacred and holy. Thoughts of being limited. Thoughts of being unworthy. And we are in that space where Spirit is ever present. And we seek to have revealed to us that which is to be revealed, so that that which is to be healed is healed. Once again, let us take a deep breath together. And now I invite you to move beyond your thoughts, your beliefs on God, on you, and simply experience this moment in the love that is, in the love that always was, in the love that is truth. In the silence, we simply come to realize love and our experience of God. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and get a sense of the fullness of life, the fullness of all that is, and the fullness of God in you and your own divinity. We give thanks for this time, and we give thanks for you. So it is. Amen.
This song was written by David Friedman, who is also a Unity teacher and author. And it was written in 1990 as in response to the AIDS crisis. So if you weren't around during those years, or if you've maybe not even heard of those years, it was a time of very deep skepticism, because there was a lot of feeling of sense of hopelessness, helplessness, despair, fear, and I'm sure we can all relate that to many other components in our life on a daily basis, yes? And what this song says is that if you have faith that the universe has your back, that God has your back, that even in all that turmoil and the helplessness, the hopelessness, the fear, the skepticism, even in all those feelings, emotions, you can be safe. You can be safe to feel those things because God's got you. Don't give up the ship, even when you feel it's sinking and you don't know what to do. Don't give up your dream, even though you may be thinking it never will come true. Life has its own ideas of how things come about, and if you just hang in there, life is gonna work it out. Help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met yet. Believe me when I say I know help is on the way. You don't have to know where the path you're on is leading. You just have to walk along, dreaming as you go, asking for the things you're needing. You never can go wrong if you have faith that things are happening as they should. And just believe each step you take is leading you to something good. Help is on the way from places you don't know about today, from friends you may not have met yet. Believe me when I say I know help is on the way. Open your heart, open your mind.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Dale. You thought you just told a joke or something. They were so excited. Yeah, well, I mentioned this earlier too when Dale was singing that. It also just reminded me of the power of community, right? Like, help is on the way. We get to be God's help in each other's lives. And so we wanted to take a moment to thank the facilitators of our latest Spirit Groups program. Some of you may know that for the last about 2 months or so, we had small in-home study groups, I think all of them virtual this time around, where individuals were discussing and leaning on each other as they went through the pages of Build the Life You Want, the book by Arthur Brooks and Oprah. And just wanted to honor the facilitators for creating the space of community, of connection, of God's help in that. And so thank you to Jenny's, to Kevin, to Marla, to Eddie, to Evie, to Liseth, to Xenia, to Noel, and to Deanna. So thank you all for that. Let's just give them a round of gratitude. Thank you to all those that participated in the program, and they are all inviting all of us, so whether you were part of Spirit Groups or not this time around, we're all invited after the service to the, I love it. When I left on my vacation, it was called the cafeteria. I come back a few weeks later, it's the youth lounge. So you're all invited through those doors after the service into our youth lounge, where they're going to have a wrap-up celebration after the service. They're going to be painting some spirit rocks so that they can pass them, so that you can pass them around to the community and inspire others. And it's just going to be a festive time of celebration. So make sure you go to the youth lounge after the services. So I'm going to do it. A man sees a sign in front of a house. This is what happens. I should not be allowed to go around the room saying hello to people because I had made the decision not to tell this joke between the 9 and the 11 o'clock service. And 2 people on that side, I won't point them out just yet, but they said they wanted jokes, so it's on them. A man sees a sign outside of a front of a house that says, "Talking dog for sale." And so curious, he rings the bell and he goes to the owner, and the owner takes him to the backyard, and the man walks out there and looks at the dog and says to the dog, "Can you talk?" And the dog looks back and says, "Yup." He's like, "Well, so what's your story?" And the dog looks up and says, "Well, I discovered I could speak when I was pretty young, and so then I worked at the CIA, I traveled the world, I even catch a couple of spies, and now I'm retired here." And the man is just amazed, and he looks over at the owner and says, "Well, how much do you want for this dog?" And the guy says, $10, give me $10. $10? $10? Why so cheap? And the owner replies, "Because that dog's a liar. He didn't do any of that stuff." It actually did better this time around. Help is on the way. All right. Well, but one of the things that caught my attention when I found that joke is that, it was all about the details of the CIA work and everything. And it's like, wait a minute, just take a step back. You just had an experience of talking to a dog. And sometimes we do get caught up in the thoughts and the beliefs and all of that, and we don't give ourselves the pause to just ask, well, wait, what kind of experience am I having? And I really believe that us allowing ourselves to go into some of our doubts, to go into some of our skepticism, can create a richer experience about our experiences. About our experiences. And it's really interesting to me. I don't know if any of you caught this, but here I am. I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about the power of skepticism and our doubts. And sure enough, I'm so well trained that during the meditation, I said, release your doubts. And actually, now I'm saying, hold on, maybe embrace some of them. Be friends with some of the skepticism or the questions that may come out. Really like question the questions. Look at what the doubts are bringing up for you. Now, I have to tell you, right, like with anything, there is the way that we can use it as a tool, and there's also the shadow of it. So I also invite us to be mindful from what space we're doing it in, right? Like, are we allowing ourselves to go deeper into the questions, deeper into the doubts and the skepticism from a place of really wanting to get clear, right? Really wanting to experience more of God in our lives? Or are we doing it to prove ourselves right and prove everybody else wrong, right? Or in some cases, prove everybody right and prove ourselves wrong, right? And so there's an invitation for discernment in this process, and there is power in the questions. There is power in allowing ourselves to be skeptics. And in many ways, what we're inviting ourselves into is redefining the power of skepticism within our own spiritual journey and a religious life. Many times, how many of you have been there and done that, where you're not allowed to question religion? You're not allowed to question the beliefs that are being passed down or try to be passed down to you, right? And so there is a level of maybe hesitation or of judging questions and doubts that may remain from those spaces. I'm the father of an 11-year-old, and I wish I had enough foresight in certain moments to not say the "because I told you so." Don't question it because I told you so. Don't ask the why because I told you so. That's the why, right? Like, that's the why. And as conscious as I want to be, it sometimes comes up because it's just part of how maybe I have moved through life, and maybe I haven't questioned that enough, right? To be able to do it in a different way. It just come up for me in the last couple of months since my son is growing up and is now 11. It's like the same things that I don't want to see in him right now are the things that I love to see when he's an adult, right? Like, question authority, question what you're told, and seek out what is true for you, except if I tell you so, right? How many of you are like that? Yeah, come on. I'm a little skeptical that only one hand went up. How many people consider yourselves skeptics in here? A good number of you. I have to tell you, for the most part, I think all of us have some level of skepticism within us. I think that many of us found ourselves in unity as a result of being skeptical. Not many of us had the luxury or the blessing of growing up in unity, right? And so for many of us, it's sort of another spiritual community that we found in our own spiritual journey. Deepak Chopra, a friend of unity, says skepticism is the first step towards truth. See, skepticism is not the absence of faith. It can be the beginning of a deeper faith journey. Doubt doesn't have to be the opposite of faith. It can be an essential part of us recognizing a deeper truth and a deeper understanding of who and what we are, who we are in relationship to the divine, and how that is showing up into our lives and into the world. And in unity, I have to tell you, we believe in a God that is bigger than our questions. We believe in a God that is bigger than our doubts. God's going to be okay if you have some doubts. God's going to be okay if you question certain things, because God is the allness of life. God is the allness of wisdom and power. God has some time for us to get to that place, right? If we can see it in that light, maybe. Because actually, I believe that God is that impulse for us to spiritually evolve. Get that? I believe, when we question, when we doubt, and when we do some healthy work through that, I believe that that is part of the ways in which God is that evolutionary impulse that is bringing us into a greater awareness and a greater experience of truth. And in a world that is filled with blind faith, and how many of us have looked at the TV screen? How many of us have been there where you see, like, wait a minute, why don't they question that, right? Why do they just believe that? Well, I ask myself sometimes, why did I not question that? Why did I just believe that, right? And so it's happening, and there's a level of desire from the outside world for there just to be blind faith, and unity has a radical invitation, which is to question it. Whatever you hear from us, whatever you hear in our classes, question it. See if it rings true for you. And if it doesn't, then look for something that does. If it does, go deeper into it. If it doesn't, Is there a different perspective that you can bring to it for the richness of the evolution that is taking place? And I believe that it is through our questioning that a lot of things go from being theory to practice. So I've been thinking about that, right? Like at a convention last week, somebody mentioned something that was going on, and of course, I was like, oh, I'd never react that way. And I stopped myself and I said, actually, I have a theory that I won't react that way because I haven't been there. And I hope that it's going to be my practice, right? And so being able to question the thought and question the beliefs that we have in the moments where those things come up and the judgments come up is a very powerful tool. And then being skeptics or allowing ourselves to go deeper into some of the doubts that we may have, even about our own spiritual understanding, can bring about a greater truth. Because there's something that maybe doesn't sit well with us, right? And before we judge it, before we push it to the side, can we befriend it? And can we ask, well, what's the judgment coming from? Is the judgment or the doubt coming from a place of, this doesn't feel true to me and there's something different, or I would see it a different way? Or is it, oh, there's something I gotta heal because it feels true, but the mind won't let me live into that truth. The judgments, the doubts won't let me. And so it's always an invitation to go deeper and deeper. And I really believe that a spiritual journey is not necessarily about just finding the right answers. It's about the journey. I can be very minded about the end result, right? Like in the end result, heaven on earth, knowing that God is good all the time, and all the time God is good, and the journey and the richness of the questions and the things that we have to move through and the experiences that we have to move to get into those spaces, that's where the beauty can lie. That's where the grace can be felt more fully. And so challenging to faith, I believe, more than doubt, is false certainty. Have you ever been in those spaces where you thought you knew something, you didn't question it, like doubts would come up, but you're like, no, God is good all the time, God is good all the time. And then all of a sudden, like something gets like taken out from under you, right? And it just doesn't feel good. And so there may be a lack of, there's a place for false certainty. And the more that we can go into some of the questions and doubts, that false certainty can become something that we can really anchor ourselves in. And so how are we doing that? And how are we allowing ourselves to move into those spaces? One of the things that I believe about this journey of faith is that it isn't about having certainty. It's more about trusting the process that we are moving through, trusting the process of unfoldment. Now, like I said, many of us questioned what we were told in the past. So I believe that there is that level of skepticism. And look where skepticism got us. It got us to this very room, right? It got us to a place of, wait a minute, maybe I'm not separate from God. Maybe I'm one with God. Maybe God is fully love and the expression of love in its many varied ways. And so it got us to this place. Some of us, when we questioned, were probably quickly told, don't question it, be quiet, and just go away. But many of us maybe also just didn't like the answers that we received, but only because we were asking the questions. Now, we're also here in Unity and Unity on the Bay because there was a couple who also questioned what they were told. Myrtle Fillmore, a co-founder, was told that she was going to die in a few years, that she was going to be sickly until the moment of her death, and she just didn't sit with her. It wasn't her experience of who she was. And so she started questioning it. And so she really went to see a teacher, and she was told that she didn't inherit any sickness, and it felt, if you read her letters, she doesn't say, oh, I knew it was true. She says, it felt like it was true. And she went with the feeling. And then her husband was a skeptic about what was going on with her, so he started to do all the research and starting to learn a lot about what it could have been that created the healing that Myrtle lived through. And so we are here because of skeptics like Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. And Myrtle says the time is right for a new understanding of the Christ Spirit, and we in Unity are those who have caught the vision. In order for us to have a new understanding, we've got to question and release the old one. That's the process that it happens. And so what is the process that is seeking to happen through you? Rather than judge your doubts and judge your questions, are there doubts and questions that are going to open you up to the next level or the next step in your conscious evolution of spirituality and bring you to a place of a closer relationship with the truth of your being? Now, there's another story that I want to share with you, and I had my own judgments about this story. How many of you know the story of Doubting Thomas? So in the Gospels, there's the Apostle of Thomas, and he, just became the Doubting Thomas because he had one particular doubt. There's only one doubt that shows up. But it's just really interesting because that's the way that I had learned that story, I really judged him for doubting. And I really judged the way that the story sort of played out. But this story really is a powerful story reminding us of what can take place and the transformation that can take place when we allow ourselves to doubt and be vulnerable enough to speak those or honor them within us. And so he is remembered for doubting when other apostles came over and said, Jesus has resurrected. Jesus has resurrected. And, Doubting Thomas says, I'll see it, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I'm able. He actually says, when I touch the marks of the nails and his side, Jesus' side, that's when I believe it. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm doubting, right? I'm thinking to myself, like, you were hanging out with Jesus all that time, and you saw those miracles, and then something happens, and then they tell you he's resurrected, and you just doubt? Like, were you really hanging out with him, right? Like, did you really get it, But that was my judgment on doubt that was showing up. Because what ends up happening is that Jesus shows up the next week and says, you know what? Here I am. Touch away. Feel it. And what's really interesting is I read that story many times before, and I always read it as Jesus coming back and saying, like, feel it. Come on, right? Like, feel it. But when I shifted my mind about like being okay with the doubts, it was like, wait, no, that was a loving Jesus saying, here you go, you have some doubts. Now experience that which you wanted to experience. Because see, Doubting Thomas just didn't want to take somebody else's word for it. He wanted to have the experience with Jesus. He wanted to see and feel that experience. And so I invite us to look at some of those doubts and questions that come up for us and ask ourselves, wait a minute, are they leading me to recognize more fully the power of just being in the experience? And so when doubts come up, like if I say something or you read something, well, hold on. Is it true? Have I experienced that before? How do I feel with this, right? Like really move deeper and deeper into it to get to the core of the experience that we want to have of God, the experience that we want to have of love. And God can take it. In the story, Jesus didn't get mad. He could take it. Our own divinity can take it. And we can really lean on the experience of God that we've had. And so when the thoughts and the beliefs and all of those stuff are being questioned, we can question it without fearing that it can interfere with the fact that we have a relationship, a personal relationship, that we can lean on God. Why? Not because we are told that we can lean on God, but because we've had experiences. How many of you had experiences where you've been able to lean on the power of God? How many of you had experiences where you can lean on the power of love? How many of you have had experiences where people questioned the blessing or people questioned the miracles? You felt the blessing and the miracle. And so the more that we can, like an onion skin, peel away by allowing ourselves those questions and those doubts, the more we'll get to be anchored in the truth that is simply asking to be felt. Not to be known, not to be judged, to be experienced. And that to me is the beauty of us allowing us to simply be with that. Now, Charles Fillmore says, let us be skeptics, but let us also look beyond skepticism into the calm trust, which is the final test of all spiritual unfoldments. Let us be the skeptics while also embracing the faith that the journey will guide us, that the process is a process of unfoldment because it has been. Every time we've questioned it, When you questioned the faith of your upbringing, maybe, or when you questioned something that somebody told you about you not being good enough or worthy or sacred, when you've questioned it, have you not felt better? Have you not felt and experienced God more fully when you've moved through that? The evolution that we are seeking requires questions, and it requires ourselves to allow ourselves to experience spiritually that which we may not know just yet. So it is an exciting journey that we can be on. And again, I simply invite you that when those questions or doubts come up, is it true? Is it showing up in my life in this way? How am I experiencing this in this moment? How does this bring me closer to feeling the presence of God here and now? Now, there's different practices that you can do with that, right? Like you can just simply be with that. You can journal. You can call up a friend and talk to a friend about it. Whatever it is, to really engage with the thinking and the process that moves you into the feeling and the knowing of the heart. Yogananda says, in divine friendship, let us seek the truth together, not fearing to question, for in the question lies the seed of deeper understanding. I encourage you to continue a journey of questioning and seeking the truth, both individually and collectively. Next week, we're doing something a little different. We've done it before where we do the Ask the Ministers questions, right? Specifically, we decided to do a talk on skepticism the week before. So if there are things that you're a skeptic about, that you have questions on, bring them with you next Sunday. What we're doing differently, we used to ask you to do it beforehand so that, we could prepare and have all the answers. It's about the experience. And so you're going to be invited on Sunday next week to just simply drop a question that you may have off in a basket, and me and Pam are just going to take it out of the box and just answer about our experience of those questions. Because again, we're not going to be shy about the questions. We're not going to be shy about the doubts. We're going to trust that they are a part of our own growth and our own evolution. How many of you are grateful to be in a spiritual community that tells you you don't have to believe this? You don't have to believe this. You are free to choose what you believe. You are free to go deeper into your experiences and know and trust the God of your being is guiding you in the way that you were meant to be guided, not the way that somebody else thought that you should be or guided. How many are you grateful that you can be in a place of questioning and be okay with the questions, that you can be in a place of doubt and be okay with doubting and be okay knowing that regardless of your questions, regardless of your doubts, regardless of your skepticism, God simply can take it, will take it, and will through that guide us into a greater experience of God, of love, of wisdom, and of heaven on earth. Are you with me? Are you grateful? When we begin to the questions that come up, we open up, and the clouds of worry and the clouds of stress are let go, and we can live into a bright, bright, sunshiny day once again. Thank you, and namaste, and let the questions begin.
All right, everyone. Well, was that awesome or what? I heard someone say amazing. Thank you, Reverend Juan, for that amazing talk and those reminders of being skeptical, asking questions, and making your own decisions, deciding for yourself and trusting yourself in your decisions. Now we have our gratitude opportunity. This is a really beautiful opportunity that we engage in as a community, because while we know that our abundance shows up in so many ways, all of them are a blessing, we also know that one of those avenues for our abundance is each of you who are spiritually inspired today. And we invite you to allow your generosity to flow through you as the channel of greater good for Unity on the Bay and our support for our greater community. We encourage you to go green. You can text the word GIVE to the phone number that's on your screens, and that is 833-245-5645. We're going to give you a few moments of sacred silence to prepare your offering. This is a really personal and faith-filled practice. So give you a few moments of silence, and then we will bless our gifts. All right. You feel that flow of abundance of giving and receiving? Seeing someone shake their head. Nancy, thumbs up. All right, let's bless these gifts together, shall we? Divine love that I am blesses all that I give and all that I receive. Yes, it does. All right, and now we're going to bless, now we're going to bless the children that are in our kids zone, the children that are at home, the child within. The blessings on the screen, and I'm prompted to say, make sure you see Inside Out too, if you didn't. Speaking of the child within, such a great movie. Let's rub our hands together, generate some energy, some love, some blessings, extend them forward, and we will say together, children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. All right, wishing all of our kiddos a safe summer. Our prayer chaplains are going to come forward. Prayer is the cornerstone of our community. So if you need prayer or want prayer or would like to even experience it for the first time, like why do we always invite them up? What is it like to pray with a chaplain? How is it? What's the experience of it? We could tell you about it all day long, but until you experience it for yourself, you won't really know. So we invite you to connect with one of them afterwards. I know I will be. And get your prayer. Get someone to pray for you, hold space for you. It's a really beautiful experience. All right, cue the music. We're going to welcome Reverend Juan back up to this stage. There's no music to cue, but...
Then I'm not coming up. Okay, there you go. Thank you. If we can put that on a track, I'm going to start playing it on my way into the house, too. I don't know how the rest of the family will feel. That's enough. Cut it. All right, so with that, the invitation this week, you have a couple of them actually. The first one is be friends with your doubts. Befriend your questions, and then just allow yourself to see what they are guiding you into. The other invitation is to pass by our gala table or go to our website so that you can get tickets for Club U. You can also pass by and pick up more information about how you can support the largest backpack drive in all of South Florida, and contact your friend that you may not see here today. We're in the summer months. People like the beach. Well, you know what? Let them know. Call them up and say, let's go to the beach after the service. So with that, I'm going to invite you to stand so that we can say our prayer for protection and follow that with our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. We are light. The love of God enfolds us. We are love. The power of God protects us. We are power. The presence of God watches over us. We are presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are divine. I feel like we need peace on earth, the peace that was meant.